welcome to the pilot episode of Zen and the Art of Eloqua, provided by Mass Engines. My name is Anthony, and I'll be your guide today as we explore Eloqua's native, out-of-the-box Preference Center functionality. Today, we will cover what is a Preference Center, configuring Eloqua email groups, setting up Eloqua's out-of-the-box Preference Center, and a sneak peek into an advanced custom-built Preference Center for one of our clients' return path. Let's get started. Essentially, a Preference Center is a place that your contacts can manage the types of communications they would like to receive from you. This can be a simple list of newsletters, events, and promos that they can opt into or opt out of, or can also include profile and interest information. It's also a much better alternative than placing a global unsubscribe action in your email footers, which many companies are known to do. This can result in a large negative impact to your ability to reach your contacts, as it effectively negates your ability to email contacts who have clicked the global unsubscribe action. Replacing that action with a link to your Preference Center and moving the global unsubscribe action to said Preference Center not only dissuades knee-jerk global unsubscribes, but your contacts may get exposed to new lines of messaging they never knew were available. What started off as an unsubscribe may end up with new subscriptions. Now, before we can build the Preference Center, we need to define our subscriptions, or as Eloqua calls them, email groups. These email groups represent the different lines of messaging that your users can opt into or opt out of. Generally, it's best practice to have 5 to 10 email groups, unless you are generating a large amount of content, in which case there may be more, such as promotional, transactional, events, announcements, and newsletters. Sometimes you may need to break promotional and newsletter buckets into subgroups. This would allow a contact to subscribe to one product promotion or newsletter, but not to another, for example. Regardless of what specific email groups you decide to use, keep the following best practice recommendations in mind. Ensure that when a user unsubscribes from a line of messaging, that they receive no additional messaging of that type, which will prevent costly spam flags. Draw clear lines between your veins of messaging. This allows you to deliver highly tailored content and boost retention as well as engagement. Keep reporting in mind. Eloqua allows pulling of email metrics and other reports discussed in a later video based on email group. Using this, you can quickly compare your different messaging to see what is worth investing additional resources into and what is not performing as expected. Once you've identified your email groups, any email that gets created needs to be assigned to the right email group. This ensures that when a user unsubscribes, they get removed from the appropriate email group. If you have any questions regarding email groups and identifying your subscriptions, don't hesitate to contact us using any of the info in the sidebar or leave a comment on this video. As you're building out your email groups, be sure to check the Include this email group on the subscription management page checkbox. If this is not checked, then the email group will not be displayed on the Preference Center. Additionally, you'll want to ensure that the contact visible name and description are filled out, as they will be visible to users on the Preference Center. You'll notice that the boxes will become active when you check the box. Once you've set up your email groups and decided on which ones will be accessible on the Preference Center, it's time to customize the look and feel. Click on the Edit and Preview Page button under the Subscription Management page header to bring up the Preference Center customization options. From here, you can upload custom HTML style tags as well as modify the text on the page. In order, you can customize status change text. This is the text along the top of the Preference Center and could be considered as the welcome message. Status text, the verbiage used to describe what preferences are being displayed, such as your newsletter subscription status. Subscribed message, the message that will be displayed during subscribe actions, acting as a confirmation of captured preferences. Unsubscribed message. Likewise, this is the message that will be displayed during unsubscribe actions, acting as a confirmation of captured preferences. Choose from list text. This is the header text that will be displayed above the subscription checkboxes, usually asking users to select the options that resonate with them. Unsubscribe text. This is the text that describes the global unsubscribe action that will be included along the bottom of the Preference Center. This is an important feature, as having this option here means you only need to have Preference Center links in your footers. If somebody wants to unsubscribe from you, they will need to navigate to the Preference Center to do so, and perhaps they'll end up subscribing to a new group. Unsubscribe checkbox text. This allows you to change the text beside the global unsubscribe checkbox, usually worded as a final confirmation that the user will no longer be able to receive your messaging. Button text. This is the text displayed on the Submit button. It defaults to the value shown. Usually, Update or Submit are preferred options. Congratulations! You've successfully configured Eloqua's out-of-box Preference Center. Now, you just need to include the system action in your email footers or landing pages so that your users can access it. To do this, open an email footer in use and add some text like Manage Your Preferences to your messaging. Then, highlight the text that will be used as the link and click the Hyperlinks tab in the Component Manager on the right. Click the Enable as Hyperlink option, and for link type, set it as System Action. This will make another drop-down, Action, appear. For this, select Send to Subscription List. You can also input hover text that will appear as a tooltip when the user hovers their mouse over the link. Repeat these steps for all email footers that should have access to the Preference Center and on any landing pages as well. Now, whenever a user receives an email from you, they can click the Preference Center link to be taken to the Preference Center that you've configured, where they can manage their subscription preferences in one centralized location. Since it is using an Eloqua system action to facilitate this, the Preference Center will load with the user's information pre-populated. Subscribes will be shown as a checked box, while unsubscribes will be shown as a blank box. On Submit, Eloqua will alter the user's email group subscriptions based on the checkbox states. Before we wrap up, let's take a look at a custom Preference Center with additional features we built for one of our clients, ReturnPath. As you can see, ReturnPath is gathering multiple contact profile data points, such as first and last name, company, and country, on top of their available subscriptions. This allows ReturnPath to do some regional segmentation, along with having clear opt-ins and opt-outs for their active subscriptions. They even have a pause feature where they will not send any emails for the duration specified, allowing their users to take a break from messaging rather than outright unsubscribing. Additionally, the page is styled to marry with the rest of their website, and even provides mouse-over previews of the mailings that they offer. Lastly, there is a global unsubscribe option present with proper callouts on the impact it will have to the user, as many do not anticipate the implications of globally unsubscribing. This is a best practices example of a Preference Center, and we will dive deeper into this and others in a later video. But in the meantime, you can send any questions you have to the contacts in the sidebar or drop us a line in the comments. Well, that about wraps up how to configure and deploy Eloqua's out-of-the-box Preference Center. Stay tuned for more videos in our series where we'll delve into other areas of Eloqua and even for advanced versions of our core topics such as this one. On behalf of Mass Engines, keep reimagining your marketing and don't be afraid to get creative.